Hi everybody, welcome to the extraction part of the video series. So today we're going to look at the alcohol extraction and the filtering process. It's really simple. You're going to take 80 grams of your plant mass per litre of alcohol. That's the first bit you need to know. The second bit is you're going to run the extraction at 45 to 50 degrees Celsius and you're going to run it for 2.5 hours up to about 4.5 hours. At 2.5 hours you will have got most of the active compounds out of the plant. But if you have some time, let it run a little bit longer and make sure you've got everything out. When you start off, you want to pre-warm all your material. So I'm just pre-warming mine here. I've got my alcohol, and as I'm running slightly small jars, I've got half the charge in here and half in here. So I've got 40 grams and 40 grams and my litre of alcohol. Warm it all up. I've got an ultrasound cleaning tank that I'm working in here. This allows me to have a nice stable warm temperature. I'm bringing it at 50 degrees. If you've got a bain-marie, you can use a bain-marie. If you don't have anything like that, then you want to use a water bath. So hot water out of the tap, doesn't have to be scaldingly hot. It's only, warm, like a warm bath temperature. Try to use the temperature probe to know that you're not exceeding the working temperatures. It's kind of important. Alcohol will boil at 68 degrees, so you don't want to get it above 50, 55, or you'll start losing a lot of alcohol vapour and boiling it all off. To heat this up, electric hot plate will be fine. Gas is out. Don't use a gas stove to heat this up, just use water out the tap. If you overheat this, you will boil the alcohol and alcohol vapours will come off. They will end up in the gas and then it's going to ignite and there will be an almighty bang and you'll lose you, the kitchen, the house and everything around you. So do not heat this on a gas stove. If you have to warm the water up on a gas stove, take this thing out, put it away, warm the water up, make sure it's not too hot, and then put your glassware back in. Be careful that you don't put cold glassware into hot water and crack it. Okay, so if it's too hot, you could crack it. Okay. Now, all this equipment has to be clean and sterile and dry. You don't want to get any water into this part of the process at all. You'll see on the blending videos that if you get water into the alcohol extract, it precipitates out the compounds and it forms a nasty mess. And if I just grab a little jar, here's an example you can see right now. There you go, you see what happens. Water into alcohol and it splits and separates. It's not the end of the world if it does that. It's going to do that a bit anyway, but we're trying to avoid it because it will make it completely impossible to filter off the plant mass from our extract. Now, when you go to filtering, you're going to take your finished material from here and you're going to filter it through a cloth filter. A clean one here. I'm using these little cloth filters. This allows you to get the bulk plant mass through really quickly and really easily. Once you've done that, you can go over to a coffee filter. I've just got a standard coffee filter holder sitting in a funnel, and you can see you get out the last of the gritty plant mass. Then what you end up with in here is now a nice clean end product. And I'll take a sample of it in a minute and we'll show you a photograph on the web page. Crystal clear. Here's one I made earlier. Let's get that little wipe off. Okay. You get this lovely, clean, clear, green, beautiful stuff. Ooh, one important note on filtering. When you take your hot extract out of here and try to put it through the filter, if it's hot, it will evaporate. And the evaporation causes it to condense down and saturate, and then you will get oily, gummy material coming out in your second stage filtration, because this takes a little while. So make sure you've cooled down this extract, allow it to stand and cool down before you try to filter it, and always keep the lids on everything to try and stop all this evaporation. Otherwise you will start losing material and you'll end up with a load of gummy, weird looking stuff, which is actually the pure compound that we're looking for. There's a picture for that I found earlier. So, quick recap. Pre-warm your material. Run your extraction at the described temperature for a couple of hours, filter it off again, collect that bit and keep that bit. Don't let any water get in there at all, otherwise you'll have problems. And then transfer your plant mass into a pan And for 80 grams, you need 2 litres of water. And then into that, I've got here some licorice chips. That's 20 grams of licorice, so I can put 20 grams of licorice in there. And now I can take this in the kitchen and we can do water extraction. There'll be another video about this. Right. When you're doing this, you're going to spill stuff. Try to avoid spilling anything. It's incredibly difficult to clean. So the little squirty bottle full of alcohol, this is what this is about. When you have dried on material like this here and on the trays and on the glassware, it's going to adhere to the surface and stick. It won't come off with water. If you just take a jar like this or one of these and try to wash this, the active compounds precipitate out and weld themselves onto the glass, and they are on there, they are stuck. So you need to wash everything down with a little bit of alcohol. If you've got jars that are really caked on, because you've done a few batches now, you'll find caustic soda is actually really good at eating its way into the material that's stuck on the glass, especially on the inside of bottles and things. And you can take a scrubbing pad like this on a stick, or just throw it in and swirl it around. A bit of caustic soda and this will clean everything up lovely. Don't get green liquid on you, your nice white shirt or anything else, otherwise you're going to have terrible problems cleaning it. And when you're doing this process and you've got your jars open and you're working, gloves on, masks on, make sure everything's been cleaned, sterilised, washed down, and you're following as much cleanliness protocols as is humanly possible. Okay, that's enough for me. I'll show you a few pictures and some bits later on the website if we need any more information.